Awesome. Thanks for not taking your coffee break right now. I really appreciate it. I think FlyHomes gets into a conversation of where human capital, human resources interact with technology, right? Because at the moment, we don't have quite the AI future that Peter laid out. I think at that point, maybe we could completely replace agents and have that human interaction with, with an AI model. That's interesting. But today, we're stuck with an industry that has largely been completely human dominated. It's all about the human interaction. Or some new companies that are coming out and they're trying to go to maybe like an iBuyer model that's almost entirely tech-centric and removes that human element. And you'll see over this, this presentation where that tension lies. And our goal at FlyHomes is to provide, I guess, kind of the Goldilocks experience, that right mix between technology and the human interaction, the human relationship. So what does FlyHomes do? I'm going to give you a quick rundown of our current products, and then we'll dive right in. So what we really are able to do for clients is that if you can be pre-approved by a lender, and you can get that letter, that pre-approval letter, we can turn that pre-approval into a cash offer, a guaranteed offer, or something I'll talk about a little bit later on, which is a trade-up if you're a current homeowner moving into your next residence. So what we're trying to do, what our goal is to superpower home buyers. Quick agenda. Overview of FlyHomes, basically by the numbers. Oh, it's right there. Sorry. The current state of real estate, what the opportunity is, what the problems are, and what the solutions we're trying to bring, and then really FlyHomes DNA, which is people above properties, which is that we put primacy on that human interaction and allow technology to facilitate that. And if there's time, I'd love to field some questions. So, who are we? As you just heard, founded in 2015 by Tushar Garg and Stephen Lane. The HQ is up in Seattle, although we do have branches in the Bay Area, SoCal, and as well as Boston. About 140 of us right now, and we just closed our B round about 6 weeks ago. We have a total of $160 million in debt and equity, and some really great names that are sponsoring us: Andreessen, Mark Vaden, Canvas, Shasta, Genesis. So they think we have a pretty good idea. FlyHomes by the numbers. So yeah, over 1,000 successful homeowners have come through in the past few years, over $1 billion in total transactions, and wonderfully, 5-star Yelp reviews. Our approach has allowed us, these guaranteed offers, the cash offers, and the trade-up program has allowed us to win those negotiations at a rate 68% over what you would have expected. So that's really where our technology, our entire process, that's where the rubber hits the road, providing real benefit to owners. Unfortunately, the state of real estate is quite sad, right? So when over 2,000 recent homeowners were polled on their experience, nearly half of them felt anxious throughout the entire process. 40% said it was the most stressful event in their modern life, which is really unfortunate. A third of them cried. So, I mean, that's just where the experience is today. Took too long, and they were completely heartbroken, a third of them, that they didn't get that dream home, the one that they had really latched onto during the process. And that's where that 68% win rate comes in, because we really want to get people into their home of their dreams. Redfin, they said, current buyers are taking out a mortgage and they should expect nearly 2 months before it closes. iBuyers, 9 out of 10 customers go with a traditional agent, just to talk about the efficiency of their model. And built by agents for agents. This is Keller Williams. This is the largest real estate company in the US, and this is their main goal, to make their agents happy. FlyHomes turns it on its side a little bit. Our cash offers, we close in 7 days. That's 90% faster than what's happening traditionally, and that's largely due to the technology we're implying and relying on. 75% of our clients choose to work with us versus the 9 out of 10 prior. And instead of being for agents, about agents, we're for the home buyers and for the, by the home buyers, for the home buyers. So this goes into the conversation I was kind of teeing up, which is, what's the proper, that Goldilocks mix between technology and that human interaction that's so important in these kind of high-level, very valuable transactions that are happening, whether it's investing or in real estate. So we're wholly focused on the relationship, and we're looking for the win for that customer rather than just trying to push through a transaction. So we look at NPS possibly more than we would even look at how many homes or deals we're closing. And in that way, we're hoping to create a company that has lifelong customers, that your experience was so good, you felt so nurtured, so taken care of, so supported, that you would come back to us and refer your friends and all those sorts of wonderful things. And again, we were built by homeowners, home buyers, for homeowners, home buyers. Both Tushar and Stephen, the co-founders, they launched this as they were starting to do real estate transactions. So they saw it from their own, the tensions, the anxiety, the frustration of the process that were out there at the time, and we're looking for a way to solve that. And again, relationships are our focus, and technology supports that end. All right, so if you think about where the Fly Homes model sits inside of what's currently happening with the iBuyers versus the traditional real estate model. So the traditional real estate model, I mean, MLS came out, I don't know, 30 years or so ago. Redfin Zillow has done a great job aggregating and providing access to the data. But really, traditional real estate is all about your local, realtor. And they did not, because of their lack of integration with technology, they did not have a full set of understanding of what was going on in their area, what was even going on in their neighborhood. They were relying on anecdotal evidence to make their decisions instead of relying on big data and technology. So while they might have done great on the human relationships, they were very poor on the technology integration. So if you look at this one-click buying situation, they're like, everyone's going to want to buy their homes with one click, which is great for commoditized products. If you're on Amazon, you're buying t-shirts, there's no risk there. When you're talking about a $1.5, $2 million home in the Bay Area, there's a tremendous lot of risk that you'll be making the wrong decision for yourself if you actually click buy or sell a home. So they over-rely on technology. They've taken it too far in my mind, and they're minimizing those relationships. They're treating they're putting their emphasis on the transaction and not on the human relationship. So how Fly Homes is using technology is that the human relationship is the core of our business. Without that trust being engendered, without us supporting and delivering incredible, impeccable customer service, the technology is kind of fallow. But we rely on technology from machine learning to analyze larger data sets, pricing information, those sorts of things, as well as how we've changed the process of how you actually go ahead and buy a home. Because currently it's a very archaic system. So we see technology as, we see Fly Homes as infused by technology, supported by technology, but all for, in the end, creating a great human experience. So here's just one example. This is our trade-up product. In this example, you're a current homeowner. You want to buy that new home. You're so excited about it. You found it. You hope nobody buys it before you do. But this is your process, right? You have to sell your current home. Your DTI, you might not have the equity to go ahead and buy that second house. So you have to sell your current home. You have to move into a rental. Selling the house, let's say, super fast pace, it takes 90 days. Maybe you clicked and used an iBuyer. Costs money to get that move, and there's a lot of frustration. Nobody likes moving. Buying a new house as quick as you can. You saw Redfin earlier, 60 days. This is kind of optimal path. And then you got to move out of that rental and move into your new home. Tremendous amount of complexity, frustration, dollars, resources, time of your life spent that you'll never get back. So even in an idealized path, we're talking about 150 days, the better, almost half a year there to get into that new home. You have 2 moves, twice the headache, twice the expenses, and this whole process is just based on what the contract law was. It wasn't based on what we needed, it was based on what that industry needed to close their contracts, and you end up with this horribly long line that we all have to wait through. Fly Homes comes in just fully drop one of the steps in that process. We flip the whole thing on its head. You go ahead and you purchase the home you want before you move out of your current home. That's a huge shift. It takes 7 days. Once you've identified that home, you can sleep 7 days later in that new home. You move into your new home, it's a single move, and then we'll go ahead and help you sell that old home. So we're talking about you moving with less than 7 days, you have one move, less stress, less expense, and then there's a guaranteed sale in 90 days that we're going to take care of your house. And this whole thing was built on what does a human want to do? Not what does the contracts, no, what do the contracts need or what has the industry been doing, but it's what would be most convenient, pleasurable and joyous and delightful for us. How is this even possible, they say? Okay, vertical integration. So going back to the technology, we brought in all the components of the real estate deal into one house, right? So we have the brokerage, who's basically the salesperson, salespeople who are helping you identify that right house, giving you all the information you need to make the right decision on this huge purchase. In-house mortgage company, in-house title and escrow. This interaction allows us to move much quicker than the traditional process. And then even more so, when you look at that last slide, you say, well, how am I able to move into that new home before I've even sold my own home? Is that you use us like a giant credit card, and we'll go ahead and we'll purchase that house on your behalf, and the two of us will settle it up later. So on top of that, we've increased the human interaction to provide a very high level of service. We have specialization of labor. So we have those agents who are out there to help you, but they have a team, a support team around them that does not only research, like if you look at Redfin, they have a tremendous amount of aggregated trended data. But as an individual homeowner, go ahead and try to apply that to your current situation. It's very difficult. And beyond that, you might have questions that are beyond days on market, where the market's trending, all those sorts of things. You might want to know, is that black mold? Can I put a second story on my house? All of those sorts of things. So we actually have a bespoke research team. So you can ask any question and you'll have a team of analysts going in and providing either the legal definitions that you need or the data that you're looking at, whether it's pricing data or the like, which is very unique. And that's going to be interesting to see how we scale that. And then, of course, we have a crew team that comes in, and if you're trying to sell a home, we'll bring it up to par. If you move into a new home and the caulking isn't great, you want to redo the windows or whatnot, we'll handle that all in one shop. So you're not sitting around looking for movers, you're not worrying about general contractors, you don't even have to necessarily worry about where you're going to get your mortgage from. All that can happen in in one single place. And that's the way that we use technology and a larger specialized labor force to provide an absolutely incredible experience for our customers. And just to go and show you how dedicated we are to providing great research, this is a few members of our local Mandarin-speaking team, where it's important for us, and this is the DNA who we are, is we want to meet the client where they are. We want to give them a highly tailored experience without the cost in the back end. Remove so much of that complexity that you saw in that buy and sell process and just make a very comfortable experience for our clients. That's Fly Homes in a nutshell. No, don't ask questions. Do we have any time left? Yes? Yeah, got one right here. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can easily cross state lines, especially in the situation you're talking about when you have a property in Colorado and you're coming to the Bay Area. You're perfectly set up to work with us. We can certainly handle that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, beyond just partnering with us, we're going to roll out. We're going to have much more of a nationwide footprint during 2020. That's I guess one of the big reasons I came here, but we can certainly work with local brokers and provide the financial support, the data support, all those sorts of things that they need to give their customers a great experience. No doubt about that. Right on, man.
Yeah, thanks for taking the question. I want to ask about how your technology differentiates from one of the other audience tech brokerage companies. Can you talk about how your technology differentiates?
Yeah, so I mean, this is, I just want to throw a disclaimer out. This is somewhat hearsay. I don't work for Compass, so I can only explain to you from my external understanding of what Compass does. So how Compass has tried to differentiate themselves, or more importantly, how they're growing their businesses, they use technology to provide a dashboard and support their agents in back-end operations. Right, so that they've really done all the back office software, and that's what they're calling technology, which is perfectly fine. That's great. It's it's integrated throughout their entire company, and then they go around the nation and they purchase current brokerages that are already operating. They bring their brand in, they bring their marketing in, and then they use this dashboard. So really, Compass is the most traditional of the of this new wave of brokers. Nobody. Bueller. There we go.
So you buy the new house initially using your capital, so you're paying like a mortgage, and then when you sold the old house, do you continue with the same mortgage, or are you selling that mortgage to somebody else?
Yeah, I mean, it can be a couple different ways of doing it, but you explained it pretty much spot on, is that the way that the guaranteed offer, the cash offer, and the trade-up work, and when you're moving into a new home, you've identified that home. We believe that you're creditworthy because you bring that pre-approved note from a third-party lender, or potentially even our lender. We'll go ahead and we purchase that home, and we will charge you rent on that home for about the 21 days that it takes for your mortgage to close, and then we hand you the house for the same price. We make our money entirely from the buy side, like a traditional broker does. So we're making anywhere between 2% and 3% on the sale, but that's coming from the seller, and there's no additional fees. There we go. Yes. Yeah, and that might really get to the heart of the technology that we bring to the table. So you've seen over the past couple of years the development of a lot of AVMs, automated valuation models. Trulia, Redfin, Zillow, they all have their shot at it. We're finding out that those are good. They're directionally accurate. You can be off by 2 or 3%, but sometimes you can be off by 20%. So the vast majority of our resources on the machine learning team isn't actually for public consumption, because we don't necessarily feel at the moment that we can improve the AVMs that are already out there that aren't that great necessarily. It's that last mile that they're trying to get to the specificity. But we're leveraging our resources to make sure that price on that individual home that we're guaranteeing is going to be as accurate as possible for the next 90 days. That's really where we're placing our bet there. Yes, please. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. When the 90 days expires, we go ahead and we purchase that home. We don't keep homes on our balance sheet. That's not our business model at all. It goes back to what does the customer need, and the customer needs that rent to go away. That customer needs that transaction to disappear. So we pull that onto our balance sheet, and then we try to sell it as quickly as we can. Yeah. And that's happened once for us. We've actually made the one mistake so far. All right, time's up. Thank you. Cheers.